All right, S10J, logarithms and natural log. So when we did exponential equations, we had y equals 10 to the x. Now, if we want to solve for x, we have to rearrange it to create an equivalent statement. So if I rearrange it, then we can rearrange it into a log format, which is x equals log base 10 y. So basically this switches around, and whenever you have the base 10, we can simply write it as log without the 10. You should have learned this in Algebra 2. So basically if I've got 10 to the 1 power, we could write this as 1 equals log 10, and we could even verify that on the calculator. If I do, if I type in log and then 10, enter, I'm going to get 1. Or if I do log 100, I'm going to get 2. Okay, and if I do log 1,000, I'm going to get 3. Okay, so you're going to have some problems in your homework. It's going to be like this. Use your calculator to write the following in the form of 10 to the x, where x is the correct to 4 decimal places. So if I want to figure out how to write 8 as 10 to the x power, what I can do is I can simply write log 8, and then I get this decimal, and then I could write it as 10 to that decimal, and let's double check to see if that works. Right? If I have 10 to the power of 0.90308, I'm going to get, let's just call that 8. Okay, so let's try this again. Log 800. So if I do log 800, I'm going to get 2.903, right? And so if I write 10 to the power of 2.903, we end up with, let's just call that 800, okay? So you have a couple problems like that in your homework, okay? Now, okay, this is more of the example that you're going to see on the IB test from what I've seen so far. So you're going to be given an equation. The magnitude of the earthquake, which releases E joules of energy, is given by this. So on the IB test, they're going to give you some sort of equation that's got log or natural log. If you see ln, that's the same thing as doing the log kind of calculation. Okay, so one of the equations they might say, okay, find the magnitude of the earthquake which releases 5.1 times 10 to the 10th joules of energy. So when you see a question like this, basically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing, because they've told you the amount of energy, so I'm going to be replacing E with this number. So if I type this into the calculator like this, then it's fairly simple to get your answer. So 2 divided by 3 times log 5.1 times 10 to the power of 10, and then divided by 10 to the power of 4.8. And then we get 3.938, right? Which can round to 3.94. Okay. So that shouldn't be too challenging. Now the next one, how much energy is released by the magnitude of 4.3? So in this example, we're replacing the m with 4.3 and we're solving for E. So this is like what we did in the exponential equations, where we have to hit y equals, and we type in 4.3 in one of the lines, and 2/3 log, and then instead of e, I'm writing x. Okay, and then so let's try this out. Okay, so I'm going to write 4.3, and the other one I'm going to write 2 divided by 3 log x divided by 10 to the power of 4.8. Okay, close parentheses, and then I hit graph, and notice this graph is very weird, and the slope, it takes it's going to be a long time before this crosses to get up there, right? So, you know, if your graph looks like this, then I need to change the window size, and I need to make the x max huge, much bigger. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Window, and I'm going to change the x max to a much bigger number. And as you can see, I didn't add enough zeros, because this eventually needs to cross over here. So I'm going to keep going to Window, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of zeros in graph, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to add another couple zeros. Okay, and that should be it. Okay, so let's call that a day. So if I want to find out where they intersect, I have to hit second trace, and then I'm going to go down to 5, and it says first curve, and it's got the long equation. I hit enter. It says second curve, and it's got the 4.3. I hit enter. It says guess, and then we get an answer of 1.778. Okay, so here are the steps, and this is the value of x. And I'm only assigning a couple problems like this, and you should be ready to go.